Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling the table saw operator interview.
That's right.
And trust me,
It's about,
it's about way more than just knowing which side of the blade is up.
it really is. This is where passion meets precision.
Okay,
We're using RoleCatcher's AI-powered career and interview guides to give you a serious edge in your job hunt.
I love it.
Yeah,
So you want to walk into that interview confident and prepared.
absolutely.
And these guides are like having a woodworking pro whispering insider tips in your ear.
Hmm.
They even have this cool feature where the AI analyzes job descriptions and helps you tailor your answers.
Right.
But more on that later.
Yes.
For now, let's get you ready to nail those interview questions.
Okay. So, first question is almost guaranteed. How did you first become interested in woodworking and specifically operating a table saw?
So it's more than just saying, I like the smell of sawdust.
It's so much more.
Got it.
Interviewers want to hear what sparked your passion, but also how it connects to this job. So think about what drew you to woodworking. Was it the creativity, the precision, the satisfaction of building something tangible? And how do those things translate to operating a table saw?
And this is where RoleCatcher's Career Guide comes in handy, right?
Yeah.
It highlights some major perks of the job, like the
Yes.
craftsmanship aspect, seeing a project through from start to finish.
Exactly. Use those insights to shape your answer.
Okay.
For example, you could say, I've always been fascinated by taking raw materials and shaping them into something functional and beautiful.
Okay.
The table saw to me is the ultimate tool for that transformation. It requires a steady hand, an eye for detail, and the ability to visualize the end product.
Okay. That's a much stronger answer.
Right.
It shows you understand the artistry involved, not just the mechanics.
Yes.
Now, I'm guessing safety is a big deal in this line of work.
Huge. In fact, the second question RoleCatcher prepares you for is, what safety measures do you take when operating a table saw?
Okay.
And trust me, this is where you need to really shine.
Rightfully so. It's serious business.
It is.
The guide mentions the obvious stuff like wearing safety glasses and keeping a clean workspace. But then it goes deeper, talking about understanding the natural stresses in wood, which sounds a bit mystical to me.
Right.
Can you explain that?
Sure. It's actually fascinating. Wood has internal tensions based on how it grew, like how a branch bends in the wind.
Okay.
When you cut into it, you're releasing those stresses, which can cause unpredictable movements if you're not careful.
Wow. So it's like the wood has a memory.
Yeah,
That makes total sense, though, why that would be crucial for safety.
absolutely.
Yeah.
By mentioning this in your answer, you're not just showing, the rules, you're showing a deeper understanding of the material and the potential risks.
Right.
It demonstrates a proactive approach to safety, which is gold in an interview.
Okay. Mental note. Talk about wood stresses. It proves you're not just a button pusher.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's move on to the actual skills involved. What's question number 3?
Question 3 gets to the heart of your abilities. How do you ensure your cuts are accurate and precise? Interviewers want to see you can handle a table saw like a pro.
Right. It's not just about safety. It's about skill.
Exactly.
The guide talks about measuring carefully, using guides, adjusting the blade.
Well,
It's all about control, right?
exactly. This is where you showcase your technical knowledge.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to get specific. Mention different types of cuts, like cross cuts and bevel cuts, and the techniques you use to ensure accuracy.
Right.
For example, you could say, I always double-check my measurements against the blade using a combination square to ensure they're perfectly aligned.
I see.
And I make sure to use the appropriate push stick or push block to keep my hands safely away from the blade while maintaining consistent pressure.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback could be really helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
If the job description emphasizes, say, experience with intricate designs, the AI might suggest you highlight your work with jigs or specialized blades.
Precisely. It's about tailoring your answers to show you're the perfect fit for their specific needs.
It's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket. I love it. So you've aced the safety questions. You've dazzled them with your precision skills. What's next?
Now it's time to showcase your versatility. Question 4 asks, what types of materials have you worked with when operating a table saw?
Okay.
They want to know you can handle more than just pine.
Okay. So time to list every type of wood under the sun, right? Oak, maple, mahogany. Should I throw in some balsa wood for good measure?
Well, it's not just about rattling off a laundry list. While it's great to mention different wood types, think about other materials you've worked with, even if they weren't your main focus. Have you ever used a table saw on plastics, composites, or even metals?
Good point. Even knowing a little about how those materials behave differently under the saw could give you an edge.
Exactly. It demonstrates adaptability and a willingness to expand your skill set. And if your experience is primarily with wood, that's okay. Just be honest and enthusiastic about learning new materials.
So it's about showing them you're not just a one-trick pony. You're a multi-material master. Speaking of mastering the craft, the next question in RoleCatcher's Guide is all about taking ownership.
Okay.
It's one thing to operate a table saw. It's another to truly understand how to care for it. That's where question 5 comes in. How do you maintain and care for a table saw? Okay, so now we're talking about the difference between just using a tool and really respecting it right.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive and responsible. The guide mentions things like lubrication, checking for wear and tear, and keeping the saw clean. These might seem like small details, but they're crucial for both safety and longevity.
It's like knowing how to change the oil in your car. It shows you're really invested in keeping things running smoothly.
Perfect analogy. And just like a car, regular maintenance can prevent those bigger, scarier problems down the road. Interviewers want someone who takes initiative, not someone who waits for the saw to break down.
Speaking of breakdowns, that brings us to question 6.
Right?
How do you troubleshoot issues with a table saw?
Yes.
Because let's be real, things happen.
Of course, things happen. It's not always about having all the answers. It's about knowing how to approach a problem safely and logically.
Okay.
This is a chance to showcase your analytical skills and your ability to think on your feet.
So don't panic if you haven't encountered every possible saw malfunction in the book. It's more about the process, right?
Precisely. Talk about how you'd first identify the problem. Is it the blade, the motor, the fence? Then describe the steps you'd take to investigate and potentially fix it. And just as importantly, mention knowing when to call in a more experienced technician. Sometimes the safest course of action is recognizing when an issue is beyond your expertise.
It's all about knowing your limits and prioritizing safety above all else, which, let's be honest, is a quality any good employer would appreciate.
Yeah.
Now, question 7 in RoleCatcher's Guide shifts gears a bit.
Okay.
Have you ever had to make a complex or challenging cut on a table saw? How did you approach it?
This is your chance to tell a story.
Ooh,
A table saw success story.
I like it.
Interviewers love to hear about real-world experiences. And this question is all about demonstrating your problem-solving skills in action.
Okay, story time. So it's not enough to just say, yeah, I've done some tricky cuts. We need details.
Details, absolutely. Think back to a time when you faced a particularly difficult cut.
Okay.
Maybe it involved an unusual angle, a unique wood grain, or a design that pushed your skills to the limit. Describe the challenge, the steps you took to plan your approach, any adjustments you made along the way, and of course, the satisfying feeling of nailing that perfect cut.
And if you're drawing a blank
Right?
and haven't encountered a super complicated cut yet,
Sure.
what then?
Don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Think about a time when you had to improvise or adapt your technique on the job. Maybe a piece of equipment malfunctioned and you had to find a workaround, or you discovered a flaw in the wood that required you to rethink your approach.
Like that time I tried to build a bookshelf and,
Yeah.
well, let's just say my measurements were a little off. I had to get creative to salvage the project. It's all about showing you can handle unexpected challenges with a cool head.
Exactly. Now, as we move on to the final questions, keep in mind that being a table saw operator is about more than just technical skills. Interviewers also want to see that you're a valuable team player with a strong work ethic.
Right. They want to know you're not just skilled, but reliable and driven. So how does RoleCatcher tackle that aspect?
Question 8 addresses this directly.
Okay.
How do you prioritize and manage your workload as a table saw operator?
Okay.
This is your opportunity to showcase your organizational skills and your ability to handle multiple tasks efficiently.
Time management, prioritizing tasks, staying calm under pressure.
Yeah.
Those are essential skills for any job, really.
Absolutely. Think about how you approach deadlines, handle unexpected requests, and ensure you're producing high-quality work even when things get hectic.
Right.
And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can really give you an edge.
Okay, how so?
By analyzing the job description, it can highlight specific keywords or phrases related to workload management, like fast-paced environment or meeting production goals.
So you can tailor your answer to directly address their needs, showing them you're ready to hit the ground running. Love that.
And to wrap up the section, question 9 focuses on your commitment to staying current in your field.
Okay.
How do you stay up to date with the latest technology and techniques in table saw operation?
Because, let's be honest, technology waits for no one. There are always new tools, techniques, and safety advancements emerging.
Exactly. And interviewers want to see that you're not stuck in your ways.
Right.
You're eager to learn and evolve.
So how do you recommend answering this one? Should you come armed with a list of woodworking journals you subscribe to?
It's great to mention specific resources like trade publications, websites, or online forums, but also think about how you actively seek out new information.
Okay.
Maybe you attend workshops or conferences, or you made a point of connecting with other professionals to share knowledge.
It's all about demonstrating a growth mindset, which, by the way, is something that really resonates with RoleCatcher's whole ethos. They're constantly
Yeah.
updating their platform, using AI to make the job hunt smarter and more efficient.
They practice what they preach. And speaking of preaching, we've reached the final question in RoleCatcher's interview guide.
Okay, big up.
It's a bit like the wisdom sharing round. Question 10 is, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out as a table saw operator? It's like passing the torch.
Or the push stick in this case.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're passing on the knowledge and the skills to the next generation.
It's like you're proving you've really internalized all those safety precautions and best practices.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to a newbie table saw user?
Well, aside from always prioritizing safety, which should go without saying,
Of course.
I'd emphasize the importance of patience and respect for the tool. Don't try to rush the process or take shortcuts. Table saws reward a steady hand and a thoughtful approach.
Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
100%. There's no shame in seeking guidance from more experienced woodworkers. We all started somewhere, and chances are they'll have some great tips or anecdotes to share that you won't find in any manual.
Speaking of tips and anecdotes, RoleCatcher's AI can provide some pretty amazing personalized feedback throughout your job search journey.
Right.
It analyzes your practice answers and suggests improvements based on the specific role you're targeting.
That's incredible. It's like having a virtual career coach in your corner helping you put your best foot forward.
It's all about maximizing your potential and feeling confident every step of the way. And you know what else builds confidence? Preparation. We've covered so much ground today.
We really have.
Thanks to RoleCatcher's incredible resources, they've really demystified the table saw operator interview process.
They really have. They've given you the tools and insights you need to walk into that interview feeling prepared, polished, and ready to impress.
Exactly. And listeners, don't forget, the RoleCatcher isn't just about nailing the interview. They have a wealth of information on career paths, salary expectations, industry trends, you name it. It's your one-stop shop for all things woodworking careers.
They really are passionate about helping people find fulfilling and rewarding work in the skilled trades.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of table saw operator interviews. We hope you feel empowered and informed, ready to tackle those interviews with confidence and precision.
Absolutely. Remember safety first, always. And don't forget to have fun with it. Woodworking is an incredibly rewarding craft.
Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and keep those blades spinning.